Hello, this will be a video announcement for week 4. Now for week 4 you have 2 assignments. The first one is the instructions and the second one is the grammar quiz 3. Now as far as the instructions, as always, I encourage you to look below week 4, okay, and look at our online weekly checklist, and you're going to notice this is our online weekly checklist for this week. Now before you actually complete the instructions, absolutely look at several resources. First, look at the handout that I have that overviews the assignment. Also, there's some other reference resources you might find helpful. That letter B, Writing That Works, it just overviews the importance of questions and kind of gives you some examples of just instructions that you see in everyday life around you. You know, just in your personal life, like how to make a good tomato sauce, like if you're making spaghetti, or, you know, how to, plant a garden. Okay, these are things we see in our everyday life because I want you to just get a feel of what instructions or directions are. Also, look at letter C. It's a video, and you're going to notice right here this how to write instructions. I did not make this video, but it's just a good informative video from YouTube that shows you how to write effective instructions. Okay, probably the most important thing that I would encourage you to do though is absolutely look at the student examples. Okay, those examples are 1 to 4, and if you're looking at Canvas, these are essentially letters D all the way to G. Now there are examples in that letter B, but again, they're instructions that are just kind of everyday slice of life things that you do in even your personal life. However, the letter D to G, these are more professional instructions and directions that you would see for on-the-job information, that you would see if you're someone working as a dental hygienist or you're someone that's working as a welder. Some of these actually have templates that were provided by the employer. Others, they were not given templates, so they had to create the instructions like in a Microsoft Word or Google Docs type of document. And as far as this assignment, this is going to be an assignment where you're writing instructions for a professional work environment. Make sure that you look at the handout absolutely for this particular assignment because I kind of outline what I want you to do. I mean, the instructions, they are a step-by-step set of directions of a task, but I want this to be a task that is something that's on the job within a workplace in which you have been or maybe you currently are employed now. Think of this as almost like a brief instructional handout, maybe a handout that would be even in a manual for new employees. And overall, remember that instructions have to be clear, concise, and very specifically worded, for the new employee. I've already mentioned kind of some of those resources I want you to look at. I want you as, an individual for this assignment, imagine that you have a new employee that's been hired into your company or into your, work setting. And I want you to select a process, a task that is something that would be a common task in that particular job. You need to essentially write 1 to 2 pages where you would be offering step-by-step instructions chronologically from first step to last step. I would even encourage you to label it step 1, step 2. Okay. And you want to offer that new employee instructions on how to do this task. Now, you may want to assume that this new employee is a layperson. They have never actually done this task. So you may need to offer definitions on terms that maybe they would have never heard if they've never worked in this particular work environment. Also, visuals are very important. I'm not making it mandatory for the instructions, but I highly encourage it, okay? Highly. Some individuals are not people that can read language and do a task. They need photos. They need videos. Now, make sure if you use graphics, and I mentioned this on the handout, you may want to reference some of the kind of resources that I have here, the graphic Writing That Works, that just overviews kind of why graphics are important. Probably the even better one, though, is the Using Graphics and Technical Writing. It shows you visuals, how you could use a chart, how you could use a photograph, how you could use like you drawing kind of the steps to the task. Use those as a reference in case you want to use any visuals in your own. Those visuals may be photographs or artwork. Someone actually drew the step. and you find that in a website, which that's fine, but you're going to have to give credit in MLA documentation, which I'll show you later. Also, we're in a digital age. My husband uses YouTube videos to learn how to do plumbing tasks around the house or how to do car maintenance. You can use a YouTube video if you think it's very helpful in explaining the task at hand, but you are going to have to give credit to that YouTube video using correct MLA documentation. Okay, so just make sure, again, you need to select a task that would be on the job, either maybe at your current workplace or at a past workplace, or if you even want to think of a hypothetical of one you can foresee yourself in the future and the career you're going to be working, and maybe you're already in college becoming educated on this process and task, and you want to go ahead and think about, okay, if I was to explain how to do this task to someone coming into a job and I've learned how to do this in a college setting, how would I do that? Okay, so as far as, just the examples, probably the examples are going to be one of the most important resources for this assignment. Absolutely look at letter D, E, F, and G. Again, these are on the job tasks. One of them is like how to make a dental impression, someone that maybe works as a dental hygienist. The other one is dealing with a task that you would have as a welder. So make sure to look at these. Again, some of them have templates that would have been provided by the employer. If your employer, it provides those templates, you can use that. However, if you don't have a template, some of these don't. They just have to use instructions just typed very neatly in a Microsoft Word or Google Docs type of scenario. Okay. Now, I do want to ensure that if you use visuals, that you know how to do it correctly. So I have several resources I want to mention to you. First off, I have a huge MLA packet for you. You will probably not need all of it. And let me show you where it is. To find that MLA packet, you're going to look at all the way at the bottom of our Canvas page on the modules page, and you're going to notice it's MLA Modern Language Association documentation. If you click on letter B, this is a detailed overview. I call this my first baby because I helped write this. It's actually in the textbook for our students that's used at several community colleges in Mississippi. I know one of my former colleges, Hines Community College, uses it in their Comp 1 and Comp 2 classes. So it's very good, and I helped contribute it, and I'm proud of it. So I want you to use it as well. So you're going to notice this is a packet. It's actually more information than you need. If you're going to take other writings classes like Comp 2 even, I would encourage you to save it. But we're going to be looking at just a few pages. I'm going to scroll down to some other pages that you'll find helpful. Okay, in this MLA packet, there's several pages I think you'll find helpful to do your works cited page, because you're going to have to give the full publication information of where you found this information, because this is visual evidence. You may want to use artwork, okay? And artwork may be like someone actually drew it in a manual, they drew it in, on a website. It could be it's a photograph, and you're going to notice right here, the way this is set up is you have kind of a formula and then you have an example. Now, some of this is classical artwork. That's not going to apply to what we're doing, but I want you to see this is, again, page 32. It talks about artwork. A photograph is on page 33. Some of you will just be basically taking information, visual evidence from, online articles about the particular task. So some of them may just be like websites. Like, just for example, if you look on page 34 right here, this would be how you do a basic website article right here. And I'm going to show you how to set that up in just a moment, okay? Let's just say, for example, I'm just going to use a task that I've done in my everyday life because I enjoy refinishing furniture. So I'm just going to say that maybe I just got a job at an antique store, and I am teaching a new employee how to essentially create an antique wax look on a piece of furniture. Okay, let's just say that hypothetically. I want to find a good visual to put in this particular set of instructions. So I just went to Google and I typed in, how to wax furniture. Okay, I found this WikiHow, how to wax furniture. I've actually done this by myself. I didn't use this particular website, but it was actually pretty good. And I noticed what I liked about this particular website is it has visuals. You're going to notice it gives step-by-step instructions. I'm just going to say hypothetically that I really like one particular step, and it's going to be the one where you actually use a brush, okay, or a piece of cloth, okay, to apply the wax to the cleaned piece of furniture. So I'm going to just say hypothetically that in my instructions, I want to use this image. Now, I would probably, right click. I would need to save this image as, if you want to call it photo 1, you could do that, okay? And let's say that I want to use this photo in my instructions. So I have an example here that, let's say this is my third step. Step 3, for the third step, dip a clean brush or cloth into the furniture wax. See figure 1. This might be my first or my only image, okay? Now, once you put the image in there that you found from a website, okay, you've uploaded it, okay? More than likely, you went over here and you could have copied and pasted. Sometimes that doesn't work. If you're using Microsoft Word, you can go into Insert, Pictures, and you upload it. That's where I uploaded mine. I just clicked this and did Insert and Open, and it put it into the document where I wanted it to go. I would encourage you to put your visuals where they need to go in the process so there's no confusion. And I put figure 1 because this is figure 1. Now you're going to notice below it, I put how to wax furniture wiki how. This is not the full publication information. You don't put that in your actual steps. You just put a short version of it. Now you're going to notice on the works cited page I have below here, this is the actual publication information for this particular website. You're going to notice right here, this was the website where I took this from. It's How to Wax Furniture. There's no author, it's just a staff. If there had been an author, I would need to say Smith, comma, Stan, period, and then I would start with the title of the article, which is How to Wax Furniture. WikiHow is the website. It did have a publication date with that June 18th, 2020. And also, most important thing is the web address. So you're going to notice, okay, I want you to see that this is basically in the same structure as this page 34, example 35. It's a web article that I found an image that I wanted to use, okay? You're going to notice if you take an artwork, whether it's a drawn image or a photograph, if you take it from a website, it's pretty much going to look like this. This is kind of the tried and true structure. So this right here, if there'd been an author, again, you'd start out with the author's last name, comma, first name, period. But if there's not one, go into the article title, the title of the website in italics, the year of publication. It may just be a year of copyright. It might be like 2021. That's fine. A comma and then the full web address. Access date, this is the date when I got it, which I just got it today for this example. Okay, and you're going to notice this is how I structure it for my works cited page, and this is in alphabetical order. Now notice though, I don't include all this in my steps. This is just on the last page for the works cited. Okay, when I go up to the image, all that I put was how to wax furniture. That's where I got this resource, this article, and then from WikiHow. Okay, so just make sure if you have an image, it may be like this, an artwork, someone drew it, or maybe a photograph. Okay, you need to, of course, say where you got it. Now, if it's an image that you took, you just need to name it. Okay, you just need to name it, like image of whatever tool. Okay, so we know what it is. Okay, now as far as for a YouTube video, that's a little different. Okay, that's a little different. Let's say that you want to give kind of an overall description of maybe a task that's a part of this, overall task that you're doing. I had for an overall description of the difference between light and dark wax, because there is a difference. You usually have to do both. The dark usually goes first before the light, okay? One's a sealant in a sense. And you said, please view the YouTube video titled Antique Furniture Finishing with Light Wax and Dark Wax from Amy Howard, okay? And this is the address. Now, all that I did was I went to YouTube and I found this really good video, okay? It's 7 minutes. It's informative. So I found all the information that I needed for a YouTube video. Now, you need to make sure to look in the MLA packet I gave you. On page 36 in that packet, I show you how to do a YouTube video. Again, follow the formula, okay? And in the next video, I'm going to show you how to make that, and we're going to talk about graphics in a little bit more detail. Thank you.